Sebastian Anderson, and I'm a lawyer and founding partner of Labor Rights Law. Well, I come from a working class family. My mom and dad were both janitors, and so I've always had a penchant for sticking up with the little guy. I've got over 40 years of labor relations experience. Started as union steward at age 21. I love doing what we do because we effectively help restore people with some dignity, give them access to justice.
I am a staff sergeant with a law enforcement agency for over 30 years. I personally went to 6 law firms before I decided on Labor Rights Law Office. During this stressful event in my life, Labor Rights Law Office was able to break down the components of a relatively complicated situation for me. I didn't realize how naive I was, but it wasn't until things were explained to me about the nuances of the specific law dealing with my issues that it became quite apparent that I was naive, and it was able to be explained to me in a way that I could understand and interpret it specific to my position.
I've never had a lawyer who I felt like was like my best friend, walking me through step by step, taking me through the highs and lows that go through when you're dealing with litigation. Coming into labor rights, I was at an all-time low. I had been severely injured in my workplace. It was a very strange and difficult time for myself, physically and mentally. Not only was going through the process and steps of not being able to go back to a career that I loved and enjoyed, but I was also losing all the ability to do personal day-to-day things that you just need to exist, and trying to figure out how to deal with that.
When clients come to us, most of them have never had to deal with legal issues before. They feel overwhelmed, confused, and frustrated, mostly because they don't know what's going to happen next, or they don't know the full scope of their options moving forward. At Labor Rights Law Office, our priority is to make the process easier for the client, and we do that by listening carefully to what the client wants, explaining the law to them, and setting out their options, including what the associated costs may be, as well as the chances of success.
One of the cases that's most memorable for me, it was a CPP disability case. Our client was a totally disabled heavy-duty mechanic. He and his wife had represented themselves unsuccessfully up to that point when they retained me. This was our client's last chance to obtain disability income to see him through to retirement. We were successful at the hearing, and as a result he got disability benefits retroactively for a number of years. After we won, we went out to celebrate. While we were eating lunch, his wife said to him, "Doug, you know what we're going to do when we get this money?" And she said, "The first thing we're going to do is get you some dentures." He immediately broke into tears. You see, he lost all of his teeth, and he couldn't afford to get dentures. So this was an opportunity for him to gain back some self-respect and some self-worth. That's really what we do at Labor Rights Law, help people gain back some dignity. It's at that point where you realize what an impact what you do on a daily basis has on an individual's life, and it's very rewarding.